Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse and to a Warehouse interview. Tonight, DC Toontime and myself would like to welcome the band Spy Mob to the show. We've had these guys featured on the Little Known Bands That You Should Know show. Go check that out below. The link is down below. But fantastic interview, fantastic band. Let's do it, Spy Mob.
We serve solos with a side of swagger. Extra loud on request. Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Now, I wouldn't have known about you guys if it wasn't for this gentleman. If Daryl had not, go tell them the story. Go.
I was just telling them before you hopped on board, Grant, that I says I was the one that turned Grant onto your outstanding band and incredible debut. This has been in steady rotation since 2004. And I also told the guys before you hopped on here, Grant, this is my favorite album of 2004. And as my little Post-it note rating can show you here, I wrote excellent 10 plus. And believe me, guys, I listen to a ton of music every year. This is right in my sweet spot. I told everybody I could singing the praises of Spy Mob. So,
wow.
Oh, thank you so much.
We've tried to spread the gospel as much as we can.
Thank you. Wow.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
yeah, well, guys, what took you so long to put the second? Now, here's news again, once again. I periodically check. I say these Spy Mobs guys are going to do another album or at least a single, something. Lo and behold, and this I just found this out a couple months ago that you guys did a Country-Tinged album in 2017. So I was happy to hear that. I mean, it wasn't the exact vibe of the original Spy Mob approach, and then Grant informed me that we were going to be talking to you and you had a new album coming out. I was back here in my studio doing cartwheels.
He's like a schoolgirl.
I am
I'm
at
just
times.
letting him go. Go ahead, keep going. You're doing it
At times, that is very true. And guys, your new album, boom, you did it again. Love it.
Well, but are we going to get one of those illustrated reviews that you created for going around keeping score?
Yes. Oh, the Red Sovine Christmas animation or story. Guys, if I knew that you wanted that, I would surely have done the chronicles of my following of your band and my love for what you guys have created. And here's another. I couldn't even really attach a face to this band or a performance to this band. I've got little photos here that I could kind of see what you guys look like, but I just came across your Fillmore concert. Yeah. That's the first time I ever saw you guys actually perform in concert. What a tight band. And what you created on the album, you created live, and it's got that live vibe, though, going for it. But as I do often, chef's kiss. Fantastic, guys.
Thank you, Daryl.
He might be your biggest fan. I don't know.
I'll give myself that jurisdiction or that accolade. I think I am.
So we're going to talk about the new record. We're going to talk about the old record. But why so long for the follow-up? I really have to know.
Well, we made a decision after we took a break that we were going to wait for Axl Rose to release, and then no.
Well, he did put out Chinese Democracy.
No, I don't know. We just, we kind of moved on. It wasn't any bad. Like, it wasn't a really, like, we try to explain it as like, we didn't really like feel like we broke up. Like we were friends and we just had kind of moved on and, did the music for quite a while. And it took us a minute to get sitting around keeping score out. We just took that break and then we always kept in touch and great friends. And we one day said, maybe we should try to record a song. And it was like, literally, let's just try to record a song. And, we could do it. I'm in Los Angeles, Eric John are in Minneapolis. And it's like, well, we could do it by setting up a Dropbox. It's a different process for us. So we thought, let's try one. And, we tried one and then we were stuck. We were like, this is too much fun. And one turned into another and another. And it's,
You guys are so in sync. That's a shame that there was that passage of time, aside from your Memphis album that's gone on before you guys reconnected musically. Have you all continued to have your toes dipped into the music biz all these years in between? Tell me it's so, because you guys are all so damn good. That would be just a complete travesty for you guys not to still be involved in music in some way.
Well, Eric, did you,
Go ahead.
I don't know, John, did you want to go?
Oh, I was going to say just these guys more than me. I got really more out of music. These guys were much more involved over the years. I was doing other things and not doing a whole lot of music other than at home, just goofing off.
Right.
That's what I do.
Now, John, are you the main songwriter of the group? How does the songwriting process go with you guys?
Yeah, I'm the main songwriter. I bring in songs, but then they become sort of spy mobbed with these guys. So, I mean, what you hear is very much a product of the three of us working those songs.
Mm-hmm.
So
what I hear, I'm sorry, Grant.
No, I was just going to jump on this real quick before I forget. So if you're just putzing around at your house, doing whatever, are you still writing songs? I mean, if you're a songwriter, I would think
during those years.
Yeah.
No, I mean, a few streaks, but I really did not write a lot for 20 years.
Because I'm just saying, let's lose Lennon to McCartney. John Lennon, even though he was raising Sean, he was always right. You know what I mean? Always cranking stuff out. I mean, once a songwriter, it just seems like you can't get it out of your,
You know what though?
system. But evidently John was able
He broke with form.
You know what though? We were talking about this the other day. I am somebody who musically, if I'm not connected with other musicians who I really connect with, like these guys, if I'm not part of an active collaboration, I'm not that prolific.
Doesn't motivate you in a sense.
But I get that because I can play guitar, but if I'm not playing in a band or something, it's sitting there, I pluck on it. But unless, we're going out and playing gigs or practicing, I kind of need that whole thing. John, I totally understand that.
Yep, that's what I'm like too.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, you haven't missed a beat in the interim because this new album is very strong. I do like the country. You got to fill me in a bit on how you decided at 2017 to take this country tangent. But you guys could play anything. I'm convinced of that. But just give us a little background on that. We'd love to hear about it.
That record, we released it in 2017, but we'd recorded it many years before that.
Oh, interesting.
So when our press release says that we haven't recorded for 20 years, that's true. It was just that we decided to release it, not thinking we were going to release anything else after that.
Interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, I was so jazzed about this interview. I even have all kinds of notes about the Memphis album.
Boys, I don't have to do very much for this.
For this show, you don't.
I just let DC go. I don't have to do anything, really. I'll just chime in. Go ahead, DC. Hey.
I have the floor. Your music, to me, it encompasses a lot of my all-time favorites, but it is very much the vibe of Spy Mob. I mean, you guys lyrically are so interesting. You take a lot of times common aspects of our lives and you craft them into songs that are just, they resonate with you because they're so human. A song like National Holidays, where it's from the point of view of a non-custodial parent and how little precious time he has with his daughter. That's brilliant. That's genius. How many people are experiencing that? And this song encompasses so much of the feelings that you would have in that situation. And also thinking of someone else, that longing for that connection to your mother, even though you're a grown-ass man, something about having your mom there, and a blessing if she still is, with you being kind of holed up with a stub toe or whatever. Mom providing that comfort to you over the phone. But I mean, these are just little slices of life that are just like pop rock gems as far as your approach goes. And you guys even do sci-fi stuff like 2040. So it's a rich canvas that you guys are painting with subject wise. The musical interplay between the four of you. That's why I asked about the songwriting, because I know in the instrumentation, I'm thinking the guitarist Brent probably came up with what he's playing in this song, playing off John's keyboards, Eric's drumming, and I know your bass player was Christian. I don't know what the...
Depends on the album. We've had a few.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, the interplay of the four musicians in this band is just, you guys are so in sync, and you add stuff that's not conventional with what you're playing throughout the song, which makes the music fresh every time you listen to it. To my ears, every time I pop in, sitting around keeping score, it's fresh. It's not like something I'm looking, oh, that came out 20 some years ago. It still sounds fresh today. And I'm always picking up little things here and there, which is the mark of a great album. And I'm going to compare you guys to some people. I think there's a lot of Steely Dan in your music. I think there's a lot of Todd Rundgren in your music. I think there's a lot of Hall & Oates in your music. And I think there's a touch of Sting. So, but it's all Spy Mob. No one's doing it like you cats are. So, hats off.
Thank you, Daryl.
Oh, my
God. I mean, I couldn't say it any better.
I've got 20 some years I've wanted to get this off my chest. I get a chance to interview these guys.
You just go, girl. You just go.
Well, I mean, Daryl, when John writes all the lyrics, and, you know, Daryl, when I hear you waxing enthusiastic about John's lyrics, I mean, this is how we feel too when John brings in these songs. And when he brings them in, he lets go of control. I mean, he's now just a one-third voice rather than controlling, you know, what happens, and which is just incredible playground for us. I remember when we recorded National Holidays, which musically, when we were recording it, just felt like this is, I mean, it's one of my favorite songs that John wrote that we recorded. But I remember getting a call from, I'll just say, someone on our team in the music industry, and they called me almost in tears, just asking, how did John write this song as a young 20-something, not divorced songwriter? Because this person had recently gone through something just like it. And yeah, we're just as moved by the songs as you are.
I've not gone through that personally, thank God. But I mean, what John captured in that tune, it was like, I thought about that subject in custody, and man, that's got to be difficult not to have that daily interaction with your child. But how he approached it, looking at a calendar and knowing, let's get this little sliver of time in a given month for the most precious person in my life, just genius. The subject matters, that it encompasses all different, the palette you guys paint with. And that's what makes it so interesting too. You go from song to song, and if you're looking at these titles, your curiosity is already piqued. I mean, German test. It's like when I picked the album up, because I believe I read an interview that they referenced a lot of my favorite artists in comparing your music to theirs. And I thought, well, I got to get this right away. But I'm looking at the titles of these songs, and I said, well, this is kind of varied here in subject matter. And when I listened, it was just, like I said, this has stuck with me for many years. I still play it. You guys should be very proud, and very proud of the new album as well. Let's talk about that.
Well, I want to turn this question around to you, Daryl.
Yes.
You're such a great talker about us. But so when you listen to the new record,
yes,
which we as a band feel is a very Spy Mob album,
agreed.
But in many ways it's really different from sitting around keeping score. What for you makes the new album still Spy Mob? Or what's a through line that you see?
You still have the attention to detail vocally, musically, thematically. I mean, that's a thread that's running through all your music. There are songs here that I can reference some other music that I've heard before, but it's all Spy Mob. The song I Was Hoping You'd Call, for some reason that hit me as like a sidetrack thing of Really Love to See You Tonight by England Dan. For some reason it just that flipped in my head. All the possibilities. I wrote soulful ballad a la Sarah Smiles. I'm not saying it's recreated Sarah Smiles. The vibe I'm getting from you guys is that tune. Like I said, this new album you guys have just done, as I go through my notes, you got 10 tracks here, and there are 6 vying for my favorite tune on this album. It's as strong as your first album. I mean, there's not as many tracks. Of course, we always want more tracks. But I mean, you guys have not missed a beat. And with all those years in between, there's going to be stylistic differences. You guys are paying attention to what's going on right now and tweaking things here and there, just like you did for the Memphis album. That's tweaked Spy Mob for maybe a different audience to kind of pull them in. But I mean, the vibe of Spy Mob still comes through. Great songwriting, great musical performance, love the vocals. Theme-wise, always very interesting. That's what's still running through all your music. And what astounds me is the amount of time in between the first album and this third album. It's still there, guys. It's still there. Your all connection as musicians, despite not playing, I don't know how much you played over 20 years together or hung out, but that connection is still there. It's still so strong. So
how long for the new record did it take for you guys to put it together?
Chronologically, it took 2 years and about 4 months. But we had some logistical breaks in there. There was a management entity we were talking to. We had a lot of personal events that happened. The music making was actually, I don't want to speak for you guys, but a pretty efficient process. I mean, we had to think of a new way of making music because we weren't in the same room really much at all. John would come over to my place to record vocals and keyboards. And then once he did that, Brent and I were off and running on the arrangements. So we had a new way of working, but that way of working was really efficient. So it seems like maybe a year of making the album and a year of getting distracted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't really have a deadline or anything. It was kind of the way you wanted, So
but in those 2.5 years also, we recorded probably 3/4 of the next album too.
Well, right. There's that.
Oh God, DC might slide off his chair. Well, someone watch DC. He could slide off.
Yeah, right. Right.
John, you got to watch out what you say.
Because once John started writing, and keep in mind, just months before we decided to record anything again, John had sold his grand piano. So he didn't even have a keyboard. So once we decided to do like 1 or 2 songs, John was like, okay, crap, I got to go to Guitar Center, buy a MIDI keyboard, which he did. And once he started to write, he's written dozens and dozens of songs. And so that's true. We're well into the next record.
Well, I don't want to dwell on lyrics and all that. I just find it fascinating that you're able to turn it off and turn it back on. After all those years and not writing, was it easy for you to get right back on the saddle? I mean, it's like in fact, this is a question for everybody here. After not recording for a long time or playing together, was it easy for you to, John, start right back up and start writing songs, the band just playing together? I mean, was the chemistry right there? It was like, hey, it's still here. because a lot of times a band hasn't played together, and that ship has sailed and you can't recapture that chemistry.
Yeah.
Well, when we first talked about recording, I was skeptical because I just didn't know how possible that was going to be to get back in gear and write good songs, good enough because we don't do songs just if I bring them in. I've had songs rejected by these guys. It's like we do songs if they're good. But I don't know why, but something like a fire was just lit, I think, for me and for all of us. And it was like, we just picked it right back up.
Well, and I think what helped is that we were a band for 12 years before we took this little hiatus of 20. So, and in that 12 years, it wasn't like on again, off again. It was, we were on a mission from God, Blues Brothers style. And we practiced at least 3 nights a week for hours and hours at a time. We were perfectionists. We were signed, we were dropped, we formed this relationship with Pharrell and then had that big experience, and there were lots of positives, but there was just a lot of music industry craziness. So when we took this pause, which we thought was maybe permanent, it was after having really honed how we work together, how we fight together, how we repair together, and our friendship really never faltered. So we had a lot going for us in coming back together. Plus, Brent and I have continued to do a lot of work in the music industry as arrangers and collaborators. So when we had this opportunity, because time allowed for it and technology allowed for it, and John's songs were there, we got to take these crafts that we've been continuing to hone and apply them to our favorite band, which was our own band.
So how was that transformation, the early 2000s and working with these other artists and I guess you kind of reinvented yourselves, so to speak, and doing these other projects that aren't Spy Mob projects. Was that an easy transformation, or the band broke up? Well, not really, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Was it just a natural transition, or was it, I don't know, what we're going to do, or I don't know. Elaborate on that. And I want to know what it was like getting signed back in the day. Had to be exciting. And then you got dropped. I want to know what happened with all that. There you go. I got that in before DC. You ruined my train of thought. I have to just...
Brent, let's take it chronologically. Let's
go chronologically.
The signing and then getting dropped. Brent, you want to take it?
Yeah. Well, the signing was, I guess, you're asking. It's super
how did
exciting.
That come about?
Well, yeah. So that was, we were looking for a deal at the exact right time in history, kind of. So there's that to take into consideration. But, we did this album, Townhouse Stereo, in 96. And then, we loved the album. We're proud of it. We kept on going. And Townhouse Stereo it's really like, there might be like 7-minute songs on that, but we were like, well, let's try to reel it in a little. We were just developing as people and as our sound. And we did 2 songs. Eric, John, correct me if I get any of this wrong because it's so far back, but we did these 2 songs, and one of them, Thinking of Someone Else, really started getting some attention, kind of just lower level A&R, stuff. And
an office of Columbia Records had an office in Chicago, and we were working on this new sort of poppier sound, and John just happened to be writing songs that were just sounded more like commercial radio. And as we recorded these songs, we end up with 6 of them ultimately, but we had a budding relationship with this Columbia Records office in Chicago, and they were interested in potentially giving us a development deal, which we ultimately didn't do. But we were like, okay, we're getting attention, we're getting traction. And then we fleshed out this 6-song EP that we thought really could get us some attention, and we worked our butts off and found some really great music industry attorneys. I say attorneys because there were 2 of them who worked under the same in the same office, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. And then they really kind of took the ball from there and got a lot of support going. And then there ended up being a bidding war between RCA Records and Epic Records. And it was kind of, it may have been sort of the last big deal that was given to an artist that didn't already have internet interest or a lot of touring under their belt, because what was happening at that time is you had bands like the Dave Matthews Band, who had toured their butts off on the East Coast, had hundreds of thousands of fans. So when RCA signed them, they had a built-in record buying base, but we didn't. So in a way, it was kind of, as Brent said, the timing was sort of like we just got under the wire of sort of one of the last big risks.
Yeah. And then, you know, we did our album, we did the full Sitting Around Keeping Score album with Epic Records, and then they decided to let us go. And, you know, you get that news, so you know, I can remember that call and just being like, oh my God, what are we going to do now, you know? And, you know, like, then I don't know how soon after that we get the call from our lawyer saying, hey, do you know these guys named, you know, Pharrell and Chad? They have a production duo. They're a production duo called the Neptunes, and they love your band. And, you know, and then that started that relationship, and we signed to Star Trek, and that started that whole Spy Mob, you know, working with NERD. We recorded In Search Of, but then we got dropped from Star Trek, not via Chad or Pharrell or Star Trek. It was via Arista, the upper end of Arista. So then again, we're like, dang it, you know? And at this point, we really wanted to get the record out because we've done a lot to, you know, promote it and whatnot. But then luckily, to be on, like, Ruthless Records gave us a licensing deal and released it. And that was great, you know, and we were able to finally get it out, you know? So that was kind of the run of Sitting Around Keeping Score.
Yeah. Well, was there like a shake-up epic or something? Because, you know, it's like the whole thing with, well, I'll go Matthew Sweet. All comes back to Matthew Sweet, damn it. A&M, he had Champions at A&M. He had his first record on Columbia, second record, Earth, was on A&M. Recorded Girlfriend for A&M. There was a big shakeup at A&M. All of the champions that brought him to A&M were gone. And then you don't have anybody in your corner anymore.
Yeah. Eric, I think, did you say that there was somebody that left that, or was it, I can't remember exactly what it was, if it was just like they decided that we were a bit tricky to market, or...
I don't think we'll ever know exactly what happened, but we know that the head of the A&R department was a huge fan and really and knew that we would be a different band. Like, we knew that we were offbeat and kind of celebrated that we were different, and thought that we would be a really important addition to the Epic roster. And then there were others not in that department, maybe in the marketing department, that were like, where do they fit? They're not Ben Folds, but, you know, what are they? And instead of taking on the challenge and saying, well, they're Spy Mob, and let's make the Spy Mob brand, I think the marketing department, this was a time where things were really getting pigeonholed and radio stations were really starting to compartmentalize and adult contemporary and, you know, et cetera. And I think they were like, we don't know what to do with this band. And I think that there was tension there, and ultimately the marketing folks won.
I think you guys straddle a lot of different contemporary music worlds. That's a damn shame that that's a negative in that paradigm at that time, because I could see Spy Mob music being played on any number of formats, let's just call them that. And the difference between you guys and a lot of other bands is what makes it so special. Your music is interesting. It's not what you expect at times. There's twists and turns, yet it is so at its core very accessible to most people's ears. I would feel, everybody I've played it for, just what? Where did this come from? I've heard nothing of this band, but I love it.
Well, DC, when we played it on the show,
we got
great
What did you guys
response.
play?
We played. What did you play, DC? Can you remember what tracks we played?
I'm sure I may have picked one of the two that I just talked about. The one, either it was National Holidays or Thinking of Someone Else. I think I played
I wonder if I can
Fly
show it
Fishing
is.
Poles. I think that or German Test Drive. I don't know, because like I say, as
that was a
on
while
my
ago.
Post-it note, I love every song on here. But those are my best guests, just reflecting back. But we did get very good response. And watching you guys do that concert at the Fillmore, that audience was on fire for what you guys were doing.
Well,
This is a big freaking mystery to me that Spy Mob isn't on the tips of tongues of music fans all over the place these many years.
there's still time.
There's still time, folks. But simmer down. There's still time.
I'll try to find that link and send it to you guys. I've done the other night. We did like the 47th show of this series, so it's one of them.
Yeah, it's called Bands You Should Know.
Little known bands that you should know.
And that's one of the credos of this channel is we're all humongous music fans. You can't come across everything, but what you're most passionate about, we try and expose our audience to artists and bands that may have gone under the radar, but deserve much more of people's attention and time. And it angers me that lesser talents are given all the accolades and it's all a peacock show at times. And when stellar musicians writing great material are under the radar, we try and circumvent that in our own little way. We do what we can, but you guys are one of my all-time favorites. You truly are. Hey guys, by the way,
Go ahead. Sorry.
are we going to get a physical copy of the new album? Are you guys going to be digital files, or is there going to be CDs or vinyl or anything?
We hope to, and we have talked about that. Yeah, we have talked about that. We hope to do that. We just got to kind of figure out the logistics of it and whatnot. We just, the whole setup and doing it on our own has been, it's quite a bit, but it's been a great process, and it's been, it's a lot of work, but we're chipping away and getting a lot of great stuff done. But that's definitely something like vinyl, especially, would be great. We would love to.
What's happening here. We are physical media fans here in the Warehouse.
Yes.
If it's just digital files, believe me, I will make my purchase.
Well, and I will tell you guys, I have been surprised at how much people do really want physical stuff still, CDs and albums. I was not expecting as much.
I think humanity is a little bit tired of just stuff in the ether.
Well, I don't want
something.
I don't really want to have to pay for something that's not, if I can't hold it in my hand. What if my computer crashes? Or, of course, if it's on Bandcamp, you can download it again.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, though. It's nice just to have a backup.
I agree. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And I'm old. I'm used to having physical media.
You ain't as old as me.
Well, I've never given up, though.
No one is.
I'm not a streamer, blah, blah.
Do you guys have a song or two from the new release that you're wanting to showcase, or that you're going to put the focus and the drive behind going forward here?
Great minds, DC. I was just going to ask that. Perfect. Yeah. Is there anything off this new record that, exactly what DC said?
What he said.
What he said.
You're asking us to choose among our babies.
I told you. I told you.
Are there a couple of standout tracks on the record that you guys go, wow, this is fantastic. This is really Spy Mob?
Do you guys have? I certainly have mine.
Go ahead.
Eric, can you? Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
I would say my two favorites are Forever in Time, and then It's Not the Only Way. Those are my favorites right now.
Really? I didn't know about that. Cool.
Interesting.
I'm full of surprises.
All right.
Brent?
Okay, so all the possibilities of love for me, like, I don't know, there's something about that one. I just love it. John actually sang that solo to me on a voice memo, and he's like, "Hey, Brent, I think the solo should be something like this." And I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do it exactly like that." And I love how it turned out, and I just love That's an old song. I mean, John wrote that song. We recorded that song like in '93. You guys,
the one song.
90. Wow.
no, not '93. 90. Whoa. It would have been early 90s. Yeah.
Like 30 years ago.
Wow, guys.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's the one song that wasn't a brand new composition. John wrote that when he was like 23 or 24 years old. Like,
just a baby.
When the talent's there, it reveals itself at a youngish age. Doesn't wait till you get in your mid 40s and all of a sudden you're cranking out the quality material. It shows early. Now, my 2 cents for what it's worth, that song, I would say that would be one to showcase all the possibilities. And you got, for our audience, we have a lot of people that like the rocking and the shredding, and although I like that as well. Body Double is like one of the most rockin' songs you guys have done. That might be one that we consider. But I told you, just in listening to your new album 3 or 4 times, of the 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got 6 favorites all tied for my favorites. So
there you go.
There you go. Another Night, On a Holiday.
Yeah.
You know, like I mentioned, the aforementioned, I was hoping you'd call. Forever in Time. This is stellar stuff, guys.
Thank you.
In my heart of hearts, I felt like I didn't have anything to worry about with the 20-year gap. I said, these guys are going to bring it. But you have that little moment. Oh, I hope this rises to the excellence of the debut. It has. And it has. You guys, hats off to you once again.
Well, let me ask you this. Kind of goes back to working with all these different bands and being on hiatus. How has working with all these other artists for all these years influenced the band today? I mean, if you think it makes the material stronger, you guys, does it? I don't know.
Well, I would think so. I mean, honestly, like I'll be like, until we got into some interviews, I didn't know I kind of thought John was writing more. John, I kind of thought because like when we got back into this and John's delivering these songs, I was like, oh my God, these like, it just was like, it continued going up. But like, Eric had a jingle company. I've continued to work with Pharrell for all these years and doing a bunch of stuff like that. So we really I knew when we had that call or the text message and I was like, let's try a new song. I knew in my heart that we could do something really good because we had all these years. And also I knew we could do something good because, after all this time, like we did so much growing together as people, and not only as just people, but like also like our chops and learning music together and learning how to groove well together, all that stuff. And then when you have this reflection of 20 years and you're still great friends with the guys, everything gets like a little easier. You can come back and do things better, Yeah. So there was a thing in this coming back together where we've been through all of that and we know like a lot of those little things are not important as just keeping this together with us as a band and making great music and being happy. So there was a big emphasis for us when we were recording this new material that priority number one is that we need it to be something that we're very into and happy with, and it's not stressing us out and we're loving it. So that was a high priority. And I think that's why the album feels like it does. It's, we're so into it. We're like, after all these years, to me, we were asked this on an interview recently. I think it's the most Spy Mob album that we've done. It's just,
Fantastic.
It's so, yeah.
I'll say this too. In those years, we don't talk about this that much, but I mean, Eric and Brent really are the producers, engineers on it. And in the past, we were working with other producers usually, but you guys really developed production and engineering chops in those years. So that's brought a lot to the table for this
I-
record.
And that's it too. I think because Eric and I, John, Eric, and I have. I tell people this all the time. We're very creatively aligned, and we're extremely creatively aligned, and we're not attached. We've gotten to this age where we're really cool with like, oh, okay. I might say, oh, I don't know, you guys, I really don't feel it. Okay, let's try something new. There's not a lot of fighting, or we just go for what's best. So with Eric and I being able to do the production, I think that did probably help quite a bit to, obviously, it's just like it's the three of us really like making those decisions. We don't have any other producer coming in. Sitting around keeping score, I say, did get a little bit more rock leaning because we were pushed a little bit more that direction, and we were okay. We did that and we love it. I love it. I love that album. But, if there wasn't a producer on that album, it was just us, it might not have been more rock leaning, So,
Well, an example of that is the 6-song EP just before that. It's
Yep.
just more, I mean, we're still rocking and we're hitting hard, but the songs from a sonic perspective are more dynamic. We had Tom Lord Alge mix sitting around keeping score, and it sounds like it. Like it's just crammed into a narrower frequency range. So it's just a loud record, and it's great. It's a great record, but it's probably not where our sonic center has ever really been on our own.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a real gift in this business that you have the three of you, three musicians, this expanse of time. You've remained friends. That is so rare. And also that you all three continually are on that fantastic wavelength where it's three musical voices, but you're all understanding where each other is coming from. And you have similar sensibilities about your approach as friends and musicians within a band. That is rare, very rare. But I'm thankful it is what it is.
Well, you asked, what did we learn in the years, Brett and I, and maybe John, like what did we learn in those years that helped us in coming back? And I think something that was never lost on us as a band in the 12 years that were contiguous years is we never took for granted how the collaboration clicked. And yeah, we had our challenges relationally, but we would always work through them. And whenever there was a conflict, we would always follow up with talking about it. And we just, because we knew that we had something really special. I mean, while our creative visions, I think, are quite aligned, we have very different skill sets. And, John's work and brilliance, I might say, as a writer, dovetails with my work as an arranger and Brent's work as an arranger and Brent's and my work as producers. We're very different people. We're very different in our skill sets, but there's this rare gelling that happens. And so I think we've never forgotten that. And if there's one thing I've learned in the hundreds and hundreds of collaborations I did in the meantime, is that that's just not always the case. Sometimes you really have to force it.
So rare,
Yes.
guys.
And I'll say that too, because I moved to Los Angeles in 2006 and I've worked with tons and tons of artists, and yeah, it's the same thing like what Eric said. I would see these artists come in and I was able to sit there, work with them or whatever, but then reflect and think, oh my God, like what I had with Spy Mob is, it's very special to have especially another couple guys that you absolutely trust. You know what I mean? Like you just gel together, you've worked together. And I could see that. Like I clearly seeing these artists come in and thinking in my head, like, my God, like Spy Mob was those years that just gelled us together. Like that's that's worth a lot.
It's a rare occurrence in any endeavor, but in a creative and a musical endeavor, That's as rare as finding a tooth in a chicken's mouth. I mean, what you guys have is really
Well, don't forget the chickens are T-Rexes.
Put that on a T-shirt, Grant. Put that on a T-shirt.
The chicken is the closest relative to a T-Rex.
Yeah.
So, if you tweak
that's
the
true.
genetic,
Yeah,
it can
okay.
grow teeth. So
All right.
Careful there, DC.
I sit corrected. But I mean, like I said, what you guys have, very rare. And like you've already said, you guys are aware of that. So, I mean, but what a gift to be able, I mean, no matter how much acclaim or whatever, know this, the music you guys have created has brought so much joy to many people. I am probably me more than anyone.
Let's be honest.
But that's a wonderful legacy, no matter how many twists and turns there are in this biz. You're creating art that brings so much joy to people's lives. And I thank you for the music that you've created. I mean,
well, I think on our next record, Daryl, it would be just great if you could record like a 3-minute speech about us that we could just put on the front of the record.
all right, I will do that gladly. Let's hear from Spy Mob's number
Eric,
one
you're
fan.
just going to make it much worse.
You're creating a monster, Eric.
So where can the new Spy Mob record, where can we find it? Where can all people watching this video, where can they find it? How do they get it?
So we have the full album up right now on Bandcamp.
Okay.
And then we're releasing, we released the first single, Another Night, on June 2nd. And then we're releasing another 4 or 5 singles up until September 1st. And September 1st, the whole album drops.
On streaming platform.
On streaming. So on September 1st, because we have our traditional roots, and it felt like we just like singles for us, and it just felt like we're an album band. So the push to like just to get it on Bandcamp was just to kind of be like have that traditional kind of album drop, and then also for fans, we kind of felt like we're a band that fans are probably going to want to hear the full record, and it is showing because we're getting good sales on Bandcamp and stuff right now.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Well, this is what I recommend, kids. For one, you could go back and listen to. I'll have to find the link. Go back and listen to the little known band show that we did with DC when he played the Spy Mob stuff. I'll put the link down below. It was this album that we featured. I'll put the links down to the Bandcamp page down below. Please do yourself a favor. Go support the band. Purchase the record off of Bandcamp. I don't ask for much.
And thank us later.
Thank us later when you buy it and you find out it's fantastic.
But right after watching this interview, folks, you could go on the YouTube and listen to as much as your heart content. Just type in Spy Mob.
That's true.
Sitting around keeping score, and check out the Fillmore concert to see these guys live, because that audience was going nuts. And everything that you hear on the album is recreated live fantastically, but with that live vibe added in. So I was so happy to come across that, because I'd never seen you guys performing live. Or
the story there, Daryl, is we hadn't seen it either. Those years were
we thought those years disappeared. They're back.
So I'm the band archivist, and after shows, I would just be handed tapes. Like, here's a board tape. And when you play the Fillmore, which is just the coolest, most professionally run venue in the country, or at least it felt like it then, they were doing 2 and 3 camera shoots of all the bands. And someone just handed me a VCR tape, a VHS after the show. And it just went in a box in my basement with everything else. And so when we decided to do all of this, I was like, okay, here's my impetus. I have to go into the basement and do a massive 2-month reorganization and digital transfer of all of the recordings that we've done. I had to buy a new VHS. I had to buy a new cassette player, a new mini DV player.
oh boy.
Media.
Oh, Lord
And
almighty.
so that was a direct VHS dump that we didn't see that I saw a year ago, but that Brett and John didn't see until a few months ago. It was pretty amazing.
Well, it looks and sounds great. So you did a terrific job all these many years. I was pleasantly surprised when that just showed up on my YouTube feed. I was thinking, how did this miss me all these years? I feel better now that it was just recently.
No, it just showed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've went about an hour. I think we're DC, unless you got anything else.
No, I've completely purged myself of all this stuff that I've wanted to tell these guys these many years.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this dog up. I want to thank John, Eric, Brett from
Spy Mob.
And no one wants to thank them anymore. Well, let's have DC thank him because he's just all worked up.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Like I said, since my ears came across this album way back in 2004, humongous fan. Like I have my benchmark groups of all time, and then I have my benchmark groups of latter day adulthood and such in this. And you guys, along with like a group like Jellyfish, the catalog was limited, but the quality of the songs and the musicianship is top shelf.
Yep.
This has been a red banner day or evening for me. So thank you for being on with us, and we wish you all the best with the new album, and we will certainly get the word out as best we can on our end.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot, you guys.
And we're going to
Thank
have
you for
these
having us.
and we're going to have these guys back on a special little known band you should know show. So
Yeah. Hang loose, folks.
Hang loose. We'll be back. All right, gentlemen, have a good night. Appreciate it. I will let you guys know when it comes up, and I'll look at the book and see what we can get scheduled.
Okay, great. Thanks so
All
much.
right. Fantastic.
Thank you,
guys.
Nice meeting
Thanks,
you guys.
guys.
We'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, take care.
Bye, guys. Yeah.
Bye.